And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bryshere's mom. I'm going to kick you in your and I'm going to go to work North Philly style. Kill.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing one and thing two, they've been covering each other's a long time, guys.
Cameras flash, sirens wail, and through the chaos strides Jaguar Wright, flanked by two stone-faced bodyguards, clutching what she swears are the tapes that will bury Sean Diddy Combs and maybe half of hip-hop's old guard with him. Today, we're inside the most explosive trial in modern music history. Picture the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan this morning. Reporters pressed against steel barriers, fans chanting justice for Cassie, and a single question ricocheting off the marble walls: what has Jaguar brought? Covered in a crimson trench coat that pops against the gray sky, she raises a flash drive like a trophy and mouths, "It's all on here." Suddenly, everyone remembers why she once called herself the industry's unfinished business.
As the Diddy trial is opening up, people keep making this all about Diddy rather than looking at everything that's happening around it. There's a lot of people that want to protect the Diddy agenda because it serves them, because allegedly they're all accomplices. Like I said last year, after the Cassie Diddy case was made public for the world to see on CNN.
Once inside, security wands her down twice. Prosecutors escort her to a back room. No press allowed. 10 minutes later, she reemerges lighter. Flash drive gone. Smiles and says only 3 words. Check the metadata. So what's allegedly on those files? According to Wright, the footage dates back a decade. An LA mentorship weekend where a 17-year-old rising star, Bryshere Y. Gray, best known as Hakeem Lion from Empire, was flown in for career guidance. Instead, again allegedly, he's led to a candlelit mansion suite. Diddy, Will Smith, a handful of handlers, and a handheld camera rolling the whole time.
You know, Mr. Combs, SC and SC, thing one and thing two, they've been covering each other's a long time, guys. Y'all don't see what's going on? The death of Angie Stone, Clive Davis, Diddy, Rock Nation on the verge of utter collapse. What happened to Tory? Find a way to blame it on him. Now all of a sudden he was trying to start a race. Just so happens that he gets half the Diddy. As the Diddy trial is opening up,
Wright claims the night devolved into what industry whispers call a freak-off. She says she's seen Gray on tape looking terrified, looking drugged, looking like a teen who suddenly realizes Hollywood's velvet rope can become a noose. Those are her words, not mine. But if even one frame checks out, the RICO case against Combs just sprouted a brand new branch. Let's rewind. Bryshere Gray was supposed to be 20th Century Fox's next bankable lead, a rapper turned actor with enough charm to headline stadiums. His manager, Charlie Mack, pitched a dual-path deal. Diddy polishes the music, Will shapes the acting. On paper, it's mentorship gold. In Jaguar's recounting, it's the gateway to trauma.
See, they trying to sleep him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present that tape.
Fast forward to 2020. Phoenix police surround Gray's home after his wife, yes, wife, something the tabloids missed, sprints half-naked to a gas station pleading for help. Negotiators talk him out after an alleged all-night chokehold. Mugshot drops, social media gasps, and that once promising smile looks vacant. By 2022, he's arrested again, this time for assaulting a girlfriend. Blogs label him another Empire curse. Wright calls him proof the industry eats its young.
One of the stars of the hit show Empire. Tonight, we're seeing hours of new video from his July arrest that ended with his wife flagging down police and telling them the actor had her for hours inside their Goodyear home. The bizarre jailhouse interview lasting for 2 hours as they try to piece together a chaotic chain of events.
Jaguar isn't the only one sounding alarms. Comedian Cat Williams, in a now infamous interview, muttered, "Puffy parties, you gotta tell him no." Actor Terrence Howard, Gray's on-screen dad, recently spoke of men who surrender their man card for fame, warning that you never get that spirit back. No names, but the subtext screamed through the subtitles.
You know, but when you lose your man card, that's the only thing I can think of. You lose your damn man card.
What is that? What do you mean by that?
You give up your ability, your right to being a man. A man don't take it, a man gives it. So when you give up that man card, you don't get that back.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Now, I'm saying what I'm saying. You don't get that back. You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man.
And then there's Cassie Ventura, whose 2023 lawsuit cracked the dam. She alleged days-long freak-offs, forced substances, a hidden maze of cameras. Experts say her settlement opened the door for federal investigators to peer behind Diddy's velvet curtains, and they did not like what they saw. Inside today's hearing, prosecutors hinted at supplementary digital evidence soon to be authenticated. Translation: Jaguar's flash drive. They've already signaled intent to subpoena Gray, who's reportedly holed up in Atlanta, and posting cryptic messages to Twitter, along with OnlyFans promos for pocket change. He once planned a $50 million civil suit against Combs and Smith, but allegedly backed off after threats. If the feds guarantee protection, does he finally speak?
Him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and she let Charlie tune that boy up on, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a filial. You're a big old and they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his book.
And if Gray testifies, who follows? Will the cameras swivel toward Clive Davis, Rock Nation execs, other moguls Wright insists were covering each other's backsides, sometimes literally? Yet the most haunting accusation isn't against Diddy or Will. It's against Andrea Mayberry, Gray's own mother. Wright claims Andrea knew her son was bipolar, ADHD, still a minor, yet looked the other way because a flashy book deal beckoned. That betrayal turns the story from Hollywood scandal to Greek tragedy, a mother bartering her child's future for a seat at the after-party.
And when I say Andy, I'm talking about Bashir's mom. I'm gonna kick you in your and then I'm gonna go to work North Philly style. Kill and Charlie. You happy now? He's a gay star. Are you happy now, Andy? For a book that didn't shall. I hope that new husband of yours leaves you. And maybe it's time you tell your son why his father is really in jail, his biological father, for all of his life and what you had to do with it. You see, that came to me and begged me for my help. I told her to get the away from Charlie. I did everything that I could do to help her get Bryshere out of California into Chicago safe to be ready for filming. She knew what Will did to him.
Wright's words slice. You tuned that boy up, Andy, for a book that didn't even sell. Harsh? Yes. Unverified? Also yes. But the courtroom isn't judging tone. It's dissecting evidence. If prosecutors can link a parental green light to interstate trafficking, the statute books get heavy fast. Zoom out. R. Kelly rotted in plain sight for 2 decades because gatekeepers cashed their checks and kept their silence. Wright argues that same silence shielded Diddy. Until Cassie spoke, investigators allegedly never cross-referenced private jet manifests, hotel receipts, and emergency room talk screens that might have connected the dots. If true, the government is now sprinting to make up 20 years in 12 months, and the music industry's most powerful names are sweating.
I do believe there's going to be a lot of curveballs. I do believe there's going to be a lot of interesting things. And what I will say is, be vigilant. We're getting started.
Is this a reckoning for the music industry?
Oh, it needs to be. And if it wasn't, I hope my presence starts that.
Lawyers close to the case predict curveballs. Translated, surprise witnesses, sealed warrants unsealed, maybe even that rumored tape starring Justin Bieber, Jaden Smith, Diddy, and Gray. Unreal? So was Epstein's flight log until it wasn't. For survivors watching this, Wright's defiance is more than gossip. It's oxygen. Every time she marches into court, she reminds victims it's not too late to reclaim testimony stolen by NDAs, threats, or shame. Her critics call her reckless. Her supporters call her the whistle you can't unhear.
Case that happened in the R. Kelly case. Because if that had been properly addressed, this would have been addressed back then. These people have been working together, all in cahoots for all of this time, and it needs to all be addressed. I'm glad it's not just me anymore. I'm glad it's someone else. I'm glad there are other people who need to be heard. I'll be sure. I'm glad they're hearing him. Cassie, I'm glad they're hearing her. Kim Porter. Through, I'll be sure. I'm glad. Natanya Rubin, I'm glad. All of these things. So yeah, it's mixed emotions, but I just know when you pray for something and God answers it, you should be happy.
And somewhere in an Atlanta apartment, a 30-year-old Bryshere Gray might be deciding whether to hit accept on a subpoena, walk into that same courthouse, and finish the story Jaguar started today. This saga is far from over, and every new filing reads like a season finale cliffhanger. So, do you think Gray will testify? Will Jaguar's tapes make it to the jury? Drop your theories below, smash that subscribe, and buckle up, because when the music stops, the real dance begins.